Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 6 of Garage Talks. You guys been waiting a while for this, so today it's going to be all about the NFL. As you guys know, football is back. So today we'll be talking about every single matchup that's out there. We're going to definitely give my picks for each winner. I think how the games are going to go. And at the end of the day, we'll have our blazing five. I'll pick five teams with their, money line or their spread, which will be my locks of the week.
Hey everyone, just a quick message. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. And let me explain. First and foremost, it's free. And they're creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer or your iPad. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on many platforms, especially the most popular ones like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more across listening platforms. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, and it's everything you need in a podcast in one place. Believe me, I have used Anchor. I have used Anchor over the years for all my podcasts, and it's definitely one of the best platforms to use. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
So today we're going to start off with the noon games. The first game that we're going to start talking about are the Seahawks versus the Indianapolis Colts. There's been a lot of, uncertainty around Carson Wentz injury status. Will he play? Will he be 100%? T.Y. Hilton's out for the game. And the news around Seattle has to do with Russell Wilson on if he'll be staying, will he sign a contract extension, and everything's for the long-term future is, transitional for both teams. Colts are looking to move to the Carson Wentz era and how he can pan out. He is reuniting with his offensive coordinator from the Eagles when he was thriving and he was an MVP candidate, but unfortunately got injured that year. And the Seahawks are looking to build a team around Russell Wilson rather than their defense like in the past years. So for this game, we are going with the Seattle Seahawks to win. We do believe experience will play a major role as Colts are younger. Definitely a new team on offense being put together with wide receivers and the new quarterback. So we do believe stability for the Seahawks over time will definitely give them a win this Sunday. how well everybody plays in their position, but I am rolling with the Buffalo Bills for this game. So the next few games, I can kind of run through them, um, because I feel like these are the clear winners. 49ers and Lions, Jimmy G's back healthy. That's the story with Trey Lance on the bench. The Lions got Jared Goff this season. We don't expect them to be any better than with Matthew Stafford. Detroit's where pretty much careers go to die in the NFL, so we're rolling with the 49ers. Next up is going to be the Vikings and the Bengals. A lot of eyes are on the Bengals to see how Joe Burrow will pan out coming back from his injury. They've gotten him the tight end, Randy Moss's son, that he had in LSU. They have Joe Nix in the backfield, so they have solid pieces all around. Minnesota will also have their star wide receiver who had a breakout season last year, Justin Jefferson. Giddy giddy up. Adam Thielen's still there. We definitely know Dalvin Cook, who's a fantasy star, was drafted top 5 in pretty much every fantasy unless you're an idiot. So we're rolling with the Vikings. I think it's going to take Joe Burrow a little bit of time to get back into things. So we're rolling with the Vikings. Next game is the Jets, who have Zach Wilson against the Panthers, who have Sam Darnold, Teddy Bridgewater, and Christian McCaffrey's coming back after a terrible injury last year. They have Robbie Anderson, who had a very, very solid outing last year with DJ Moore. The Jets have nothing to be exciting about. I don't even think Zach Wilson is that exciting. So I am taking the Panthers. This last game for the noon schedule that I am looking at, it's the Cardinals against the Tennessee Titans. So this game, and I think Steelers and Bills are the games that everybody should watch because I think they're going to be closely contested and phenomenal talent that will be there. I do believe Kyle Murray will take the next step. His receiving corp is extremely deep with D Hop, AJ Green, and he has solid running backs in the backfield like Gus Edmonds. Tennessee is now looking to be that team in the AFC South like the Texans were for the past few years. They got to win the division, then they got to go get some playoff wins. As you know, the big news, the Tennessee Titans paired up Julio Jones with AJ Green. With Derrick Henry in the backfield, they extended Ryan Tannehill. So from a monetary perspective, everybody's getting paid. There's no distractions. The defense lost Jadeveon Clowney, which was big. But they still have their core that's still there with the solid cornerbacks and safeties. So I do believe this is going to be a good, hard-fought football game. And I am rolling with the, it's really 50-50, but I think I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans to upset. And I think Titans are the favorite to win this game, but I still think it's an upset. So now we're looking at our schedule of late games, which is your, 3:30-ish games. First game is Browns versus the Chiefs, and we are definitely gonna call this a offensive shootout. I think Odell Beckham will show up as long as he's cleared, which is what we've been hearing. I know he hasn't had a lot of contact, but I do believe if Odell shows up, this is going to be an offensive juggernaut. And I am rolling with the Chiefs, Dolphins, and Patriots. It's the debut of Mac Jones after Patriots release Cam Newton. All eyes are on Mac Jones. Uh, Unfortunately, I do think there's a lot of help for Mac Jones on the offense, but people have been raving about him, so and he's been getting a lot of reps with the first team, so he should be able to do something. Dolphins come back with Tua Tagovailoa, with Mal Gaskins, and I think the other guy's Miles Gishik, something like that. Mike Gishik, something like that. The tight end and the running back. And also, Tua has a solid wide receiving corps led by Devontae Parker. So I am. It's a tough one again, but I think I'll roll with the Patriots to get the victory. And it's also another Bill Belichick disciple. That's the coach of the Miami Dolphins, Brian Flores. So let's see how that works out. The next game is Broncos and the Giants. You know, everybody knows the big news is the return of Saquon. From what I've been reading, he's going to be slowly brought back in, and he might not be fully a full go. So I'd recommend fantasy owners to keep an eye on that. It's tough to sit out, a top 4 round pick, but I am definitely suggesting sitting out Saquon Barkley week 1. Next game is going to be Green Bay Packers with the Saints. Everybody knows the story here. If you don't, let me update you. New Orleans, Drew Brees retired. They picked Jameis Winston between him and Taysom Hill. So Winston will be leading the charge in New Orleans. And they have no Michael Thomas, who's out 6 games. Green Bay made a lot of noise this offseason for everything that's wrong. Aaron Rodgers will most likely play his last season in Green Bay. So might Devontae Adams. Aaron Jones is locked up. So, and Packers got Randall Cobb back. I know that's not big news, but it's big news because Aaron Rodgers wanted him. Packers went to the Texans, made a trade, got him for him. And we know Aaron Rodgers and Randall Cobb had a great connection when he was in Green Bay. So I guess Packers are putting the band back together for one last hurrah. And we are rolling with the Packers for this game. I do believe, being short of Michael Thomas and a solid receiving corps, while your defense just gets older, I don't think they improved a lot on defense this year. Packers have been showing steady growth, and I think with communication completely clear, where everybody needs to be for this 1 year, I think Packers could do something special. But as of right now, we're picking them to win in week 1. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the end of our episode 6. Thank you for being with me, your host Yasir. And as always, going away, I will be giving you my 5 locks for this week. You can bet the mortgage on these. So first, we are going to take the Panthers. You could take the money line or -4. I think they'll easily cover that. The second pick that we're going with is going to be the Los Angeles Chargers. They're +1.5 and +110. So for those that don't know, when you bet money line, so let's say Chargers are +110. If you put $100 on the Chargers, all they have to do is win the game and you get your $100 back plus $110 because those are the numbers. Now, if you pick Chargers +1.5, that means if they lose the game 30-29, which means they have 29 points, and Washington has 30, so they have lost the game by 1 point, and their spread was 1.5. So if you bet $100, you will get back $90.91. So there goes the method. So my first lock of the week are the Panthers money line or spread, Chargers money line or spread. I am also saying that the Vikings are a lock, so you can take the money line or the spread. My other lock is definitely over 45.5 points for the 49ers game, which means that 49ers and Detroit have to score a combine of 45.5 points, which means if they both score 46 points, so 20-26, then you will be a winner. So those are 4 locks, and my last lock for this week is going to be the Los Angeles Rams that are playing on Sunday night. I will go with the money line minus 400 for this game, and I do believe that they will cover that. I think it might be a close game. I think Rams, since they're also getting a new quarterback with Matthew Stafford, who's been there from the beginning, so they had a great offseason. But I would still take the money line. I think +9. Anything +7 sometimes a little hard to cover in the NFL. This is not college. So I would take Rams money line. And those are my 5 locks of the week. You guys have a wonderful week 1. Football's back, baby. And let's have a great football season. And I wish everybody a wonderful weekend. A great Sunday. And I'll see you guys soon.